Welcome to the Mindset Lady. In this video, we will talk about Shayne, one of the contestants from Season 2, Love is Blind and Netflix series. So she says that I'm stubborn and I just realized that. And Shayne says like, I couldn't say that to you because you would kill me like you always say. You know, again, oh, I'm gonna kill you, or if you do this, I'll kill you. This is a very joking, sarcastic way of communication of Natalie. Then Shayne says something very interesting.
Just promise you'll never leave me.
Of course, I would never leave you. Don't leave me.
This shows that how actually anxious he is about being left. As I said, in the anxious attachment type, this is the main fear that we have. This relationship is gonna end. He's gonna leave me. This is why in the fights you cannot help it but ask for affirmation, ask for reassurance, and in any little argument or kind of disagreement, you feel like the world is crashing down or everything is going to end terribly. I used to feel this way. In every little argument, I would feel like I was shaking and I was just like, didn't know what to do. I would overreact. And 10 minutes later, I would hear my boyfriend playing computer games and laughing with his friends. I was like, wait a minute, my world is crashing down. We are laughing. So this is how anxious attachment type works. I have now more secure attachment type. So thankfully, because it was very stressful to have the anxious attachment style, and that's what Shayne does, and he goes out of nowhere, just promise me you will never leave me. In episode 7, Shayne meets Natalie's parents. When I look at Natalie's parents, I see where Natalie's character is coming from. Let me explain.
Hi. Oh my
Natalie.
God. What? What do you mean doing here?
Oh, you're looking good.
No, really? What?
Whose place is this?
It's mine, I swear. No.
From the very first moment, we get the feel that Natalie's father is a little bit more laid back and Natalie's mom is the one who is questioning things and maybe more on anxious side. So Natalie explains that this was an experiment and I got engaged with somebody, and let's see what their reactions are.
I said yes, so I'm engaged.
Oh my God.
His name's Shayne. This is like Shayne in my apartment.
What?
Oh.
Oh my gosh. It's like too much.
So we're getting married in 2 weeks.
What? I am concerned. As a mom.
So am I.
Do you want to see the ring?
No, I don't want to see it.
Well, did you see what her mom did? She slapped Natalie's hand. I told you this, probably Natalie grew up seeing this around her. This is why she kind of jokes around, she picks on people, and she shows her love by just, you know, kiddingly hitting. This is probably how her mother raised her. I'm not saying her mother beat her up. I'm just saying that probably her mother was showing her love like this. Maybe they were just like, you know, get away from me, you know, that kind of sarcasm. We can see that her mother is not taking the news very well. And let's see how Natalie will convince them.
Like, Mom, he's exactly like you, like high energy, like very, sometimes a little bit emotional.
You know what?
I will give you the heads up. Personality-wise, he's very different from me. I don't know a better word, but he's just like more spontaneous, I think.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is good.
Which is good.
Which is like you. But like, it's like, it works. Like,
It is interesting that Natalie thinks Shayne is like her mother. And also apparently in Natalie's home, mom is the breadwinner. Although right now Natalie says that, you know, Shayne is like you, very energetic, very spontaneous, just like you. When we pick our partners, we tend to look for things that are actually in our opposite sex, which means, for example, if you are a woman, you know, growing up, either you want to marry someone in your life who has the strengths of your father did, very similar things, or who doesn't have the weaknesses that your father did. But sometimes we eventually find some man that has the same weaknesses as our fathers do. And same thing for men. You know, the woman they choose carries things from their mother. I'm going to talk about this in a separate video about how parents affect our dating life from the past to present. But here what I see is Natalie says, you know, you're very similar to Shayne and you're very energetic too. I am 100% sure that also Natalie's father carries so many qualities that is similar to Shayne.
She does a lot of a crazy thing, but this is too much on me.
Let's give her benefit of the doubt.
She does a lot of crazy things, but this is too much for me. Seeing her mother criticizing her daughter like that kind of made me think that was she raising her being critical too? Because you know, when a dominant parent is there and they are more criticizing than more loving, I mean, of course they love their children, but one thing is to love your children and the other thing is to show this to your children enough. I feel like maybe Natalie was raised with more criticism than affection, and this is why it's hard for Natalie to show this to Shayne, and this is maybe why she is critical about herself, or maybe this is why she has some low self-compassion. And here, let's see if they're gonna like Shayne. Shayne having high energy and positivity, I think worked here very well. I think the first impression of the parents were positive.
That's good because my wife is my best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, James might ask me if you are to me.
Natalie's father says, my wife is my best friend. Her mother goes like, ask me if it's the same for me. Sarcasm, right? This is what Natalie got from her mom. Apparently, Natalie took a lot from her.
What made her stand out?
She made like a point every single time to like give me a reassurance and like say like, you're my number one person. Like a lot of people are always so hesitant and afraid to like say that kind of stuff to give themselves up and be vulnerable. Yeah. But she like staked her claim like right away. You know, she wasn't afraid to say it. What?
So Shayne, reassurance. Do you see what is important for him? You just listen to people carefully and you're gonna understand right away what is most important to them. It's that easy, just to listen to them carefully and pick out those words and see the repetitive words.
Oh, you got into a fight already? An argument?
Yeah.
We're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. But like I said, but now we have different communication styles. So like we learn, and now it's like I'm not going to be so up like emotional about certain situations, and like she's got to speak a little more so it can help me out too.
We have different communication style. We learned that. That's good. Thankfully. Shayne's charming personality worked, and both parents really loved him, especially the father seems to be okay with this. So now Natalie and Shayne goes to Shayne's mother and they meet.
Do you approve of Natalie?
Of course I approve of Natalie.
Yeah?
Of course I do. Why would I not? She seems very genuine.
Both parents made the same comment. It's very interesting. Natalie's father said he seems very genuine, and Shayne's mother said the same thing for Natalie. She seems very genuine. I think for parents, being genuine is very important, guys, being like yourself. And they are actually true, because both Natalie and Shayne are very genuine people. One of them more introverted, one of them is very extroverted, but definitely they are very sincere, both of them. So this is what Shayne's mother says. Shayne had said in the pods that his mother was his best friend. I mean, it is great to be in a good relationship with your parents. It's a must, actually, if you can. But being best friends with them is probably not ideal, because then the boundaries kind of get blurry. But I know what Shayne meant. I think Shayne is saying that he's very close to his mom. He really loves her. That's what he tried to say. For the bachelor party, guys go to Wrigley Field and they hit some baseball, and girls went partying. What happens though with Shayne used to play college baseball, and he scored the lowest. He was at his worst that night. Probably they were drinking, guys. There's the stress of getting married the next day. I mean, it's okay. You shouldn't look at these things as competition, but as like games and fun. But I know it's hard when there's a bunch of men, lots of testosterone hormone going on. It's hard to not to get competitive. So let's see what Shayne's reaction is when he was the worst among all these guys, and I'm going to talk to you about that.
It's a little slow. Didn't you play college?
Motherfucker.
At least you look like a baseball player.
Never been more embarrassed in my entire life. I'm pissed. This was embarrassing as shit though in front of everyone else. I got the short shaft out of everyone here in the stadium. I am 100% in love with Natalie. I'm 100%, I'm gonna say yes. I'm very happy. I can't wait to get married so bad. I love her so much. That's all I care about.
I've never been embarrassed this much in my life. I'm pissed. We talked about this before. If Shayne cares about what other people think about him, you know, and when we have low self-esteem or low confidence, then this affects us much more. If we were right here, then we react like this. The same night he said these things, he called her drunk, and he said he was very upset because of the baseball game. And I think she said something as if don't care about it too much or something like that.
Last night, Shayne and I got into a fight. It was a really bad one, and he said some hurtful things to me. I asked Shayne, do you think you maybe had a little bit too much to drink? And he just got really angry at me.
It escalates very quickly from somewhere, and he says that I hate you and you are the worst thing happened to me, something like that. We will hear from Natalie soon, but this is self-sabotage. Do you remember he said himself, like, sometimes my mouth gets me in trouble and he doesn't say things that he means, and in the wrong moments he said wrong things, and that's the worst thing you can do. One day before your marriage, you tell your wife-to-be that you hate her. Of course, your fiance has every right to feel betrayed and be confused about these comments.
During the arguments, I think everyone says stuff they don't mean most of the time. It's just...
Can you explain what happened?
I don't want to talk about the fight, dude.
And why do you think this happened? Because Shayne loves reassurance, loves affirmation, but hates judgment. Hates criticism, especially when he's drunk. We cannot think straight, our emotions are heightened, and probably that's why he reacted that much. I mean, he's nervous too. He's gonna get married as well, like Natalie. I'm not defending him here, but what I'm saying is, with his psychology, that judgment was multiplied by 10 times. I'm 100% sure when he was telling Natalie that, you know, I did terribly with baseball, I was very embarrassed in front of everybody, he was looking for some words to lift him up because he cannot do it himself. That's the problem with low self-esteem, guys. People with low self-esteem cannot put themselves up by themselves. They need an outsider. They need someone they love to do that for them. And at that moment, she didn't do it, and she did the opposite. She judged him in his eyes, and that's where everything exploded. He doesn't want to talk about it because he feels guilty about it. That's why he's looking down. When we feel embarrassed, when we feel guilty about something, we do eye blocking like he does. He's just staring at someone else, and I don't want to talk about this. But he knows that what he did was not right. I think after that kind of argument, especially before your wedding day, it is so crucial to talk to each other, not to sleep on it and say sorry, apologize. If Shayne didn't apologize, because people with low self-confidence find it really hard to say sorry because they know that they cannot handle that fact that well. Maybe this was the case, and this is why Natalie said no.
Dude, we had our bachelorette party, and then we got into a little argument again, of course.
Why'd you say of course? It makes it seem like there's...
Well, because she finds something wrong. I do it usually almost every time.
She finds something wrong in whatever I do. And he's shifting the blame here. If Natalie said, like, did you have too much to drink? He perceived as a judgment and, oh, again, I did something wrong here.
The argument between Natalie and I just believe it stemmed from me having to prove myself all the time. Do you think I'm pretty?
Do I think you're pretty?
Me having to prove myself all the time. No, Shayne, you don't have to. You just want to. You don't have to prove yourself all the time. He is doing mirroring here. Actually, Natalie always needs to prove that he's beautiful, he's handsome, he's nice, the relationship is going great. And actually, I see that Natalie really was trying.
I just never feel like I'm enough.
I never feel like I'm enough. Do you see? Not feeling enough affects our self-confidence, guys. But this is not about Natalie, because whatever Natalie says, you're not going to understand it the correct way. Your vision of yourself is not going to change, no matter who you date with. Do you remember in self-sabotage, we start an argument, we suddenly can ruin everything with that argument. We are so happy, we are about to get into a relationship that will make us feel happier than ever, because that's their words. Shayne said, I thought I was happy before, but you know, with you, I'm the happiest. And the same thing Natalie said. So they were almost there, and he just starts an argument from somewhere and he ruins it. This is self-sabotage. And this is not because of something Natalie did, but something Shayne felt deep inside.
But yeah, then from there, I basically said, with what you say about me, like, why would you want to marry me anyways? And then I'm like, I just don't think we should get married now. And I said that.
You said that to her?
And he said, maybe we shouldn't get married now and stuff like that, meaning that he was worried that this relationship is going to end anyway, so why we marry? Of course, he didn't mean this, but his subconscious had been thinking about this all along. So that just came out. When we drink, our subconscious shows itself, but on steroids. So, and yes, they have different communication styles, but the reason that he is looking for reassurance and affirmation all the time is that he needs to feed that confidence somehow. Otherwise, he keeps feeling not enough because he cannot feel it by himself. But we should be able to do it. We should be able to feel enough without anybody around us. We should love ourselves without needing that somebody else will love us. Once we take care of that, once we feel worthy, loved, and enough, then we can start building happy and healthy relationships. One thing I realized, Natalie's dad gives compliments on her. Like, do you remember the first time he entered their apartment? He said, like, you look good.
Oh, you're looking good.
Yeah.
And now he says, you look fabulous.
Oh, you look fabulous. Fabulous.
And it's not surprising Natalie picked Shayne, who loves to compliment. Because again, as daughters, we look into some qualities that our fathers have in our men. So Natalie says, no, I don't think we're ready. And then they have this talk. They're having an adult-to-adult conversation, that's great. But then Shayne says this.
You know that I'm sorry that I said what I said. It's how I truly felt. We can talk about that later if you want, but without this kind of stuff, it's like...
So you're saying you truly felt like you hated me and I was the worst thing for you at that moment?
Or do you want to do this right now?
No, I was just, is that what you were saying?
Why not fair?
I just didn't know what you meant by what you said. You truly meant those words.
So he says, I meant all of it. And then when she confronts him, he goes like, of course, I didn't mean any of it. So it's very confusing. I think he doesn't exactly remember what he said. And this is why he said it was true. But then when he hears the exact words from Natalie's mouth, his eyes go wide open. It's like, wow, you know, did I say that? Like, maybe he's not even aware those words came out of his mouth because he was drunk. What we learn in the next episodes is that they start dating again, and they were going really well. But then apparently Natalie caught some Instagram messages or text messages, I'm not sure, between Shayne and Shayna, and they were very sexual messages as well. When Natalie confronted Shayne, Shayne said, yes, we send each other flirtatious messages, and then they broke up for good. And apparently when Shayna was sending those messages, Shayna was together with someone else as well. And this is why Natalie finished this relationship, according to what she said in the future episodes. This didn't surprise me at all, because Shayne was complaining about not getting enough compliments or attention and, you know, those kind of things from Natalie. And if they didn't resolve these problems, he will switch to someone who constantly gives that to him. He wanted someone to feed his ego, and Shayna is that kind of person. She loves feeding the other person or partner's ego a lot. But if he looked into his feelings, and if he tried to fix that issue, that not feeling enough or feeling flawed, then he wouldn't self-sabotage himself. Because messaging with Shayna, or maybe other girls too, is nothing but self-sabotage. You're sabotaging your relationship. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you haven't watched my other Love is Blind series videos, they are right here for you. If you like my videos and want to see more of it, please don't forget to subscribe and send your likes on my way. Until next time, bye.